In a moment, I'll speak to a remarkable individual who embodies the spirit of overcoming challenges and embracing one's uniqueness. 32-year-old South African traveller Vasti Krugel hasn't only conquered her personal struggles, but has also become an inspiration to countless people around the world. Let's explore her extraordinary journey as the tallest traveller. Vasti, really good to see you. Welcome onto the show.
Thank you. Really good to be here.
So let's talk about the journey that you've walked. I mean, starting out, you didn't embrace being tall. In fact, you were taunted by your schoolmates. How have you overcome all of that?
Yes, that's very correct. When I was younger, I was the tallest in my class, and it was always a challenge for me to accept my body and accept my femininity as well. And I remember going to shop for shoes, and it was always such a heartache for me because I had to shop in the men's section for shoes or in the boys section. So there were some challenges that I had with that as well. And I used to slouch to try and fit in with the rest of the group so that I wouldn't stand out so much. But I soon realized that was just damaging my posture and my body. So I had a real disconnect with my body when I was younger. But over the years, I worked on that. I overcame that. Specifically, once I understood that it's an energy that certain people cannot channel or manage as well, and it's just their way of expressing jealousy to bully others.
So let's talk about that journey that you walked. At what point did you start to embrace that being tall was actually a gift, if you will, and obviously something later in life that you'd be able to embrace, in fact, to a point where it potentially became a business for you?
Well, when I was in South Africa, it was still a bit of a challenge for me, but I did recognize that it was something that I could turn into a strength. So once I had left school and I had gone to college, that's when things started to turn around for me quite a bit. As my college was a more open-minded, creative college, I went to the Open Window in Pretoria, and there I started to embrace my uniqueness. Until I went to China, however, that's when I started to understand that other cultures really value being tall, and they see it as a goddess-like characteristic. And once I was there, I had a very different approach and started opening up my mind to see what potential opportunities there are for me to monetize this strength that I was hiding as behind a weakness. So
that must have been a bit of a shock, though, because you come from a place that you call home, and everybody looks at you strangely because you're so tall. And then all of a sudden, as much as it is a novelty, it's also something that's greatly appreciated by foreigners.
Yes, it was something that I was definitely not expecting to find on the other side of the world, and I didn't think I'd have to travel halfway across the globe to view and to get a different view of myself from the outside. But I'm very grateful for the opportunity because I've been able to understand different people have different ways of thinking about things, and it's also allowed me to accept South Africans as well and understand that it's not it's just ignorance, basically, what it comes down to.
So what you've done now is you've taken ownership of the tallest traveller. You've obviously been to a number of destinations. China is one of those places that you've been to. And some of the visuals that we were looking at the moment, we saw you spent some time in Zambia. Talk to us about your engagement with locals in various parts of the world. What's most memorable, most remarkable? What have some of those interactions been like for you?
Yes, so Africa was the first trip I did before going abroad. I went to Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Botswana, and I really had a pleasant time there, interacting with the children and interacting with different almost family members, if you can call it that, across the globe. So that was something particularly exciting for me and something that really opened up my view to seeing the world as a global place. And since that travel, I think the travel bug just bit me, and I traveled across the globe. I had been to China, Thailand, Hong Kong, Malaysia on the Asia side, and also traveled back to Europe as well, and Spain, and really opened up my mind to understand different people come from different backgrounds, and due to that influence from society and their morals and the way that they had been raised, they would respond and react to the way that our bodies are formed in a different way. Yeah.
Now, as an African youth, what sort of message of encouragement would you give to other youth that are facing insecurities because of their own personal peculiarities? So whether it's being as tall as you are, or being really, really short, or some might be overweight, obese, or face any number of challenges.
I would say to embrace the difference and to use that as a strength, because that's a differentiating factor. So that's something that you could really use to your advantage, that sets you apart from the one next to you. I didn't expect that I would be able to turn something that was so hard for me around into something that I am extremely happy about now. It's something that I can't change about myself, but the moment that I started to accept it and use it as a strength, it's really helped me to not only see myself in a different light, but also inspire other people to find the strength within inside of themselves and overcome that challenge and use that to stand out, because that is what they have that's different. That's their uniqueness.
Now, we're just coming to the end of Youth Month, at a time when unemployment in South Africa, particularly for young people, is very, very high. How important is it for young people, or what opportunities exist, if you will, to embrace your God-given talents and convert them into a business, such as what you were doing?
Yeah, I definitely see there's a big niche and a big gap in the market for that type of career, if you could call it that, where you would express your journey online. I mean, there are so many platforms today, social media, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. You pick your favorite platform and you just to be yourself, express yourself, and just go ahead and step out, take a step of courage and draw attention to yourself, because once you draw that attention to yourself and you create a following, or you attract people that are like-minded or like you, they see that it is possible to overcome that struggle and they support your journey. So it's taking something that, instead of working for a boss, or instead of getting a 9-to-5 job, or instead of stressing about the lack of employment, take what you have and turn it into something that you can monetize by creating a group of supporters around you that understand that what you're doing is changing the way that society thinks about that as a weakness, and it influences them, it influences the people around them, and it grows like a tree, or it's like a ripple effect. And it'll come back to you, because that's transcendence. That's transcending your own limitations, and there will always be a positive consequence when you step out of your comfort zone to do something bold.
Well, Vasti, let's talk about the next steps for you. You've obviously started this business, or are pushing the tallest brand. Yeah. If we were to look into your crystal ball, if you will, in another 3 years, where do you think that brand will be, or where will you be as the tallest traveller?
Yes, so I'm definitely expanding. I'm at the stage now where I really want to turn it into a global brand. I have worked with my teacher over the last year and a half to find and channel the inner energy into art, because art is one of my biggest passions, and that's also something that I wanted to combine with business and turn it into an extension of the tallest traveller. So I will be creating products of my art and monetizing that as well. And I also have some other business ventures and collaborations and partnerships with people across the globe that I'd like to take a step further, and also to minister to the African youth and really be a guiding light, or a shining light that they could come to and speak to and ask questions in terms of what they can do, so to counsel them or to coach them, and to provide some even business advice to anyone who is in the same position, not having something that they have an idea that it could be a strength or a unique trait or a skill or a talent that they've been gifted with, but they're not sure where to start or what to do to turn that into their pot of gold. Absolutely
brilliant. And you raised something that I'd like to speak on very, very quickly, And that's the issue of a coach or a mentor. You know, how important is that, or how important was it for you in your journey? Because obviously you were on your own, you were teased, you were ridiculed as a young person. Just how significant was it to have somebody to guide you and give you that confidence?
Yes, I think that is probably the most important thing that you could do for yourself. I've always believed in investing into personal development, and I see it as I would rather say no to a cup of coffee to take that money and save it and pay someone to give me life advice. Or now you could reach out to anyone that you believe is a good role model and really follow in what they're doing. So starting small and just getting in contact with or following a few of your mentors or people that you look up to is a starting point. But my life really changed once I started reaching out to and investing into a life coach or a proper coach or someone that really resonated with me. So I think more so it's important to find someone that you are aligned with, that sees your vision, that sees you, and that understands what it is that you have the potential to become. And I'm extremely grateful for my journey and all of the teachers that I've had along my path. And I believe that I have a team of board members right now that I could always go to and ask for advice about different areas of my life. And that's also very important, to be open and vulnerable and to express your own weaknesses and your own fears to someone that you can trust. So my teacher right now is still in India. I'm taking a time away from him, but we're still in contact, and I appreciate everything that he's taught me, and I am applying those methods and advices in my daily life all the time.
I'll pick something up that you said. You said finding someone. So let's talk about relationships and how you navigate that, because there aren't too many men, I'd imagine, potential partners that are as tall as you.
Yes, so I've had a lot of people reach out to me on my Instagram account, either begging whether they could be my boyfriend or whether they could send me what they could give me or what they would need to do to be able to win my heart over. To be very honest and answer that question, I really believe that God has got somebody in the pipeline for me, and that when the time is right, that He would send that person to me. And I've had different types of relationships with different men, where it's been more intimate or more emotional, or the connection has been more intellectual, and I've really enjoyed the differences in the various types of relationships. But I'm also not in a rush, and I know that things will happen as they should. I wouldn't be able to answer whether the man has to be taller than me or not, but I think that it's more like a cherry on the top type of thing and not the biggest deal breaker, because I have been in relationships with men who have been shorter than me, and they've been very compatible.
Fantastic. First, you certainly appreciate your time. And if we are invited to the tallest wedding, yeah, that's certainly something that we look forward to.
Awesome.
Vasti Krugel, and she is the tallest traveller, speaking to us on Newsfeed at PM.